Welcome, dear viewers. Today, we are about to embark on a journey of belief, reflection, and powerful affirmation. We will focus on one powerful statement. Say this 100 times a day. Allah makes the impossible possible. This statement carries immense spiritual weight and can transform your life when said with sincerity and faith. Let's explore how. Before we dive deeper, think about one challenge in your life that feels impossible right now. Hold that thought as we explore the power of this affirmation together. Feel free to share in the comments section. What is something in your life that you've struggled with or thought was impossible? Let's discuss it together. Short reflection on Allah's infinite power. In the Quran, Allah reminds us of His infinite power. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. Quran 2:20. Whatever we may face, no matter how insurmountable it may seem, it is nothing compared to the power of Allah. The first step is to truly understand that there is no limit to Allah's capability. Say this affirmation in your heart with complete trust in His will. Allah, in His greatness, is capable of transforming the impossible into reality, no matter the odds stacked against us. When we speak with belief, we open ourselves to His infinite mercy and guidance. Before starting this video, don't forget to like this video because it gives us a lot of strength to continue sharing beneficial content. And I invite you to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay informed of our next publications on the Islamic faith. Share it with your loved ones and leave a comment to tell me what you think. Thank you and good video. The importance of the statement, say this 100 times a day. Why repetition is key. Repeating something 100 times daily might seem simple, but the spiritual transformation it invites is profound. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best of deeds are those that are done regularly, even if they are few." Repetition strengthens belief and reaffirms our trust in Allah's mercy. When we repeat a phrase with sincerity, it becomes more than just words. It becomes a prayer, a reflection, and a powerful affirmation that draws us closer to Allah. As you begin saying this statement, don't just say it from your lips. Say it from your heart. Feel the weight of each word as it affirms your belief in the impossible being possible. Allow your heart to connect deeply with the meaning of this phrase. It is not merely the repetition of words, but the sincerity of your belief that unlocks the power of this affirmation. Have you ever tried repeating a phrase or prayer regularly? How did it affect your mindset? Share your experiences in the comments. Did it help you overcome challenges or change your perspective? We would love to hear how it worked for you. Real story integration. Look at the story of Prophet Yunus, Jonah, in the Quran. He was swallowed by a whale after being cast into the sea. Desperate in the belly of the whale, he called out, "There is no deity except you. Exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers." Quran 21:87. His prayer was sincere and Allah responded, turning what seemed impossible into a miraculous rescue. Despite being in what seemed like an impossible situation, Yunus never lost hope. His sincere supplication and trust in Allah's mercy were what led to his rescue. Like Yunus, when you face hardship, believe that Allah can change your circumstances, no matter how dire they may seem. Remember, when we feel trapped in situations that seem impossible, it is our faith and trust in Allah that can open the doors to the miraculous. Keep saying the phrase, "Allah makes the impossible possible," with conviction and trust that nothing is beyond His power. A deeper dive into the concept of impossibility. Defining impossibility in the human context. What we call impossible is often just our perception of limited abilities. As humans, we are bound by physical, mental, and emotional limitations.
We may see a challenge and think there is no way out, no way to overcome it. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom and power, is not bound by our limitations. Allah's strength is limitless, and His ability to change any situation is beyond our comprehension. Allah tells us in the Quran, "Say, never will we be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector." Quran 9:51. This verse reminds us that nothing is impossible when we put our trust in Allah. It is not the situation itself that defines impossibility, but our perception of it. With faith, even what we perceive as impossible can become possible. When you encounter something you think is impossible, remind yourself that Allah is the ultimate protector and guide. His wisdom is beyond what we can comprehend, and His plan is always perfect. It may not always unfold the way we expect, but Allah's plan is always better than our own.
Trust in Him and believe that no matter how impossible the situation seems, Allah's mercy and power can overcome it. What has happened in your life that you initially thought was impossible? How did you overcome it or grow from it? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Was there a moment when you thought something was beyond your reach, but through faith and persistence, you witnessed the impossible unfold? Share your journey with us. Real story integration. Let's look at one of the most powerful examples of Allah making the impossible possible in history, the Battle of Badr. In this battle, only 313 Muslims stood against a much larger army of 1,000 Quraysh fighters. The odds seemed overwhelmingly impossible. The Muslims were outnumbered, and many had no armor or weapons, but their faith was unshakable. They believed that Allah would grant them victory, and they stood firm in their trust. In the midst of the battle, the help of Allah came in the form of angels sent to assist the Muslim army. Their victory was miraculous and showed that Allah's intervention can turn what seems impossible into reality. When you say, Allah makes the impossible possible, remember the Battle of Badr. Think of how, against all odds, victory was granted to a small group of believers who trusted in Allah's power. This story teaches us that no matter how impossible the situation may appear, with trust in Allah and perseverance, we too can overcome the challenges in our lives. Allah's help comes in ways we may never expect, and He has the power to change any circumstance. Stories of modern-day miracles and overcoming the impossible personal testimonies. Let me share with you a modern-day story. There are countless examples of individuals who faced overwhelming challenges and found the strength to overcome them, often against all odds. These stories serve as living proof that, with unwavering faith and determination, even the most impossible situations can be transformed. Real story. One story comes from a woman named Aisha. Aisha was involved in a severe car accident that left her with multiple fractures and a broken spine. Doctors told her that she might never walk again. The pain was unbearable, and the future seemed uncertain. But Aisha did not give up. She turned to prayer and poured her heart out to Allah, asking for His mercy and guidance. She repeated the phrase, Allah makes the impossible possible, day after day, trusting that Allah had a greater plan for her. Through relentless faith, prayer, and the support of her community, Aisha defied all expectations. Not only did she regain her ability to walk, but she also went on to become an advocate for others in similar situations. Today, she shares her story to inspire those facing their own battles, showing them that no matter how impossible things may seem, there is always hope when you place your trust in Allah. Think of someone in your life who overcame something that seemed impossible. Maybe it's a family member, a friend, or even someone you've heard of whose strength and faith in Allah allowed them to achieve the unthinkable. How did they do it? What role did faith, prayer, and community support play in their journey? Reflect on the strength they showed and how you too can tap into that same power when you face challenges in your own life. Can you think of someone whose story inspired you to believe that the impossible is possible? Perhaps you've encountered a friend or acquaintance who overcame significant obstacles with faith and perseverance. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments. We'd love to hear how others' experiences have impacted your own faith and outlook on life. Incorporating Quranic stories of perseverance. The Quran is full of stories of perseverance, trust in Allah, and miraculous divine interventions. These stories are not just historical accounts. They are timeless lessons that continue to resonate with us today. The story of Prophet Abraham. Consider the story of Prophet Abraham, who was cast into a blazing fire by his own people. They were determined to destroy him because he refused to worship idols and spoke the truth about the oneness of Allah. The fire was prepared to burn him alive, and it seemed impossible that anyone could survive such a harsh and deadly situation. But Ibrahim, A.S., placed his full trust in Allah, believing that nothing could harm him as long as Allah willed it. As he was thrown into the fire, he recited the name of Allah, and Allah's mercy intervened. Miraculously, the fire did not harm him. Instead, it became cool and peaceful, and Ibrahim emerged unharmed, a living testimony to Allah's limitless power. This story shows us that no matter how impossible our challenges may appear, if we have faith in Allah, He has the power to turn the most impossible situations into opportunities for growth and divine intervention. When you face a challenge, remember that what seems like an obstacle can become an opportunity with Allah's will. No matter how intense or overwhelming the situation may appear, trust in Allah's plan. Just as Prophet Ibrahim A.S. was saved from the fire, so too can Allah deliver you from the flames of your trials. Trust in His wisdom, and remember that Allah's mercy is far greater than our understanding of what seems impossible. The power of perseverance and faith. In times of difficulty, it can be easy to forget the stories of perseverance that have come before us, especially when the situation feels hopeless. Yet these stories, both from the Quran and from modern-day lives, are there to remind us that our struggles are not in vain, and that with patience, faith, and trust in Allah, we can overcome anything. Every time you say, Allah makes the impossible possible, think of these stories. Reflect on how Allah helped those who were in situations that seemed hopeless. Whether it's the story of Prophet Ibrahim, the struggle of Aisha, or your own life experiences, remember that Allah's mercy has no limits. Trust in His timing, and believe that even in the darkest of times, Allah is always with you. The role of patience and trust in Allah's plan. Patience and submission to Allah's will. Patience is an essential part of the affirmation, Allah makes the impossible possible. It is not just a passive state, but an active demonstration of trust in Allah's will. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, taught us that patience is a light, and this light guides us through the darkest of times. In moments of hardship, repeating the phrase, Allah makes the impossible possible, becomes a reminder to hold steadfast, to trust, and to submit to the will of Allah. Through patience, we acknowledge that the test we are enduring is a part of a much bigger plan, a plan that is woven by the wisdom and mercy of Allah. Patience doesn't mean the absence of pain or difficulty, but rather the ability to endure through it with unwavering faith. Every challenge we face serves a purpose, and even in our moments of despair, there is wisdom in the test. By constantly affirming this truth, we cultivate resilience and deepen our connection to Allah's plan. When you say the phrase, Allah makes the impossible possible 100 times a day, take a moment to reflect on your patience. Remember, patience is not just enduring hardship, but also understanding that each test has a divine purpose. Trust that every hardship, no matter how difficult, is a part of Allah's grand plan for your growth. His wisdom exceeds our understanding, and what we perceive as impossible may simply be part of the path to something greater. How do you find patience in times of hardship? How does faith help you navigate through difficult moments? Let us know in the comments. Patience can be hard to practice, especially when the situation seems bleak. But your story might inspire someone else. How does trusting in Allah's plan help you through life's challenges? Real story. Integration. Consider the story of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, who were tortured and persecuted for their beliefs. Despite the suffering, their faith never wavered. One of the most powerful stories is of Bilal ibn Rabah, a former slave who became one of the Prophet's closest companions. Bilal was tortured by his master, who tried to force him to renounce his faith. He was dragged across the scorching sands of Mecca, placed under heavy stones, and subjected to unspeakable physical torture. Yet, through it all, Bilal's words were unwavering. Ahad, Ahad. Allah is one, Allah is one. His strength and patience in the face of what seemed like the impossible are a testament to the power of faith. Bilal did not give in to despair, nor did he abandon his faith, even when all seemed lost. He trusted that Allah's plan for him was greater than any pain he was enduring. Eventually, Bilal was freed, and he became the first muezzin, caller to prayer, standing as a beacon of perseverance, patience, and trust in Allah. Remember Bilal's perseverance when faced with challenges. His trust in Allah made what seemed impossible possible. When you are faced with trials that feel unbearable, think of Bilal and the strength he found in his faith. His patience and trust in Allah helped him endure the impossible and emerge victorious. Let his story be a reminder that even in our darkest moments, Allah's plan is greater than any hardship. Understanding patience through Quranic teachings. In the Quran, Allah continually reminds us of the importance of patience. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, "O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient." Quran 2:153. This verse highlights that patience is not a solitary act, but one that is paired with prayer. Through our prayers, we strengthen our patience and increase our trust in Allah. The Quran also teaches us that hardship is a natural part of life. In Surah Ash-Shar, Allah says, "For indeed, with hardship will be ease." Quran 94:6. This reminds us that even in the hardest moments, ease will follow. Patience allows us to hold on to hope and faith, knowing that our relief is coming, even if we cannot see it yet. Whenever you face hardship, remember that with patience comes ease. Trust in Allah's timing, and know that the difficulties you are enduring now are part of His greater plan. The patience you cultivate today will lead to the ease and reward that Allah has promised. Keep repeating, "Allah makes the impossible possible," with full belief, and know that every test will eventually lead to growth and strength. The power of trust and submission to Allah's will. Trusting in Allah means submitting to His will, even when we don't understand it. It's easy to question why something happens or why we are facing a particular challenge. But submission is the key to peace of mind. When we trust in Allah, we are not just accepting what happens to us, but we are trusting that Allah, the most merciful, has a purpose for everything. When we trust in Allah's will, we surrender the need to control every outcome. Instead, we place our trust in the fact that Allah knows what is best for us. The famous story of Prophet Ayub, Job, is a powerful example of this trust. Prophet Ayub endured immense suffering. He lost his wealth, his health, and his children. Yet, despite the severity of his trial, Ayub never lost faith.
His trust in Allah remained unwavering, and Allah, in His mercy, rewarded Ayub by restoring everything he had lost, and more. Trusting in Allah's plan means accepting that we don't always know the why or the how, but that Allah's plan is always better than our own. Reflect on Prophet Ayub's patience and trust. His suffering was immense, but his faith remained unwavering. When you face hardship, trust that Allah has a plan for you, even if you cannot see it right now. Conclusion. Patience is not about enduring hardship passively, but about actively submitting to Allah's will with full trust in His divine plan. Every trial, no matter how impossible it may seem, has a purpose in Allah's grand design. When you say, Allah makes the impossible possible 100 times a day, let it be a reminder to cultivate patience, trust, and submission to Allah. Through patience, we endure. Through trust, we find peace. And through submission, we open ourselves to the possibility of divine intervention. Allah's plan is always perfect, and with patience, we can navigate any storm. Final reflection and affirmation. Now, after reflecting on the powerful stories we've shared, both modern and historical, Quranic and personal, we arrive at the affirmation, say this 100 times a day. Allah makes the impossible possible. Let this affirmation be more than just words. Let it be your daily mantra. Say it with sincerity and belief, knowing that every repetition of this phrase is an act of faith. It's a reminder that no matter how impossible things may seem, Allah is capable of transforming the most difficult situations. Through this affirmation, you are aligning your heart and mind with the boundless mercy and power of Allah. By repeating it daily, you invite Allah's wisdom into your life and reaffirm your trust that He is the one who can make the impossible possible. Whatever challenge you may be facing, trust that Allah's plan is far greater than anything we can imagine. Let us conclude with this affirmation. Say it aloud, right now, 10 times, and feel the power of these words. Let it resonate within you. Allah makes the impossible possible. Say it from your heart. Let the weight of these words settle deep into your soul. Allah is with you in every moment, guiding, supporting, and helping you navigate through life's challenges. Trust that, with faith, you can overcome anything, no matter how impossible it may seem. As we close today's discussion, I want to hear from you. What did you learn from this video? How do you feel about incorporating this affirmation into your daily routine? Do you believe that with Allah's help, the impossible is truly possible? I'd love to hear your thoughts, reflections, and any personal stories you might want to share in the comments. Let's continue to encourage one another on this journey of faith and trust in Allah. Your thoughts could be a source of inspiration for someone else who is facing their own challenges. Invitation for continued engagement. Finally, I encourage you to come back to this affirmation whenever you face a challenge or feel the weight of an impossible situation. Keep saying it, not just when things are hard, but as a daily practice to remind yourself that Allah's mercy is always present. Share this message with someone who might need it today.